Hi, I'm James. It's Saturday morning. Didn't want to work on the Tucano this weekend. Just spent the last 2 weeks hard labour laying up those molds and getting everything done. Anyhow, I needed to replace the lighting in the shop, so I bought some new lights from Amazon. Got delivered yesterday, so decided let's put them in today. So while I was at it, I thought, hey, why not give you a tour of the shop and show you some of the tools, equipment, some of the changes I've made and designed to make life easier to build these things. And anyhow, that's what today's about. It's nothing to do with building the Tucano. It's about behind the scenes, what goes on, and what you need to do these things. And anyhow, what I use to do these planes. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So let's crack on and I'll show you what we've got. Good morning. It's Saturday. Today we're going to have a break from the Tucano. The shop needs some upgrades. So I'm going to redo some of the lighting, put some shelving up, and then I'm going to go through and show you some tips and tricks that help in a small shop. So stand by. One of the first things we're going to do is put a light under this shelf. This I just did the other day. There we go. I'm not much of a cameraman, so forgive me. So we're going to install a light under there. I just received them yesterday. And we're going to get that done. And that will allow me to have lights right over my power tools. All right, I have my trusty pencil, tape measure, some brackets, and we're going to just whip those in. These lights are called Baja, I believe. They're a 4-foot T8 dual row LEDs, and they're pretty neat. These are the ones. Don't know if you can see that, but what I'm going to do is pop this under there, and these come with multiple connectors and so forth. In this case, I'm going to just put a hand switch in there. Right, let's get to it. So I'm going to use a drill just to run me a pilot hole. I've marked where I want to go. We're just going to drop a shallow hole in. I'm going to pop another one in. And the reason I'm filming this is to show you how easy these babies are to put in. Okay, back with my tool. Certainly helps. Hope all this stuff doesn't come flying off. Can we do this in less than 5 minutes? That is the question. You need an electrician? No. There we go. All right, now for the light. They have these little plugs on both ends, so you can actually daisy chain them. I believe you can put up to 4 of them. The equivalent to 40 watts. There we go. Boom, bang, lift off. Ooh, wow. Now that's bright. Oh boy, I can really see all my stuff. I should be able to start using the bandsaw and actually cut straight now. Anyhow, that's number 1 done. I used these lights, bought them a couple of years ago actually, after I bought this house then built this shop. And I wanted to have zone lighting around the workbench, which is here. The problem was I don't know what the problem was. Anyhow, I'm going to add another one to the zone. Now I'm going to add another light to this zone. This just had a single light and it just wasn't cutting it for me, especially when I'm working on the opposite side of the fuselage. So it's just a matter of whipping one of those brackets in, which is single screw, put the adapter on and plug it in. This was one of my switch zones, which blew a couple of months ago, and I didn't get a chance to replace it because I'd run out of them. So I'll just pop one in from this new batch and all will be good. I've just updated the lighting a little bit and I'll show you what I did. This is my light switch. From this I can control up to 5 zones. And right now, as you can see, I've got one zone on. There you go. And I want to bring this guy on, so it's just push a button, they come on. I can also bring that one on down there. And I can manually connect the one that you just saw me putting in. So let's go around the shop and I'll show you a few things that I've done to upgrade the shop. This is much smaller than my previous shop, which I'll show you a picture of. But this is where I do my cutting for all the composite material. These are all fiberglass in different weights. Like this one, super lightweight. You can see it's like gossamer. This is the 3/4 ounce. Then we've got 3 ounce, and then we've got 2 ounce. We've got a couple of different 6 ounce cloths which we use. And in another place, I have a bunch of 12 ounce for when I do the final on the molds. So we just put this shelf up the other day, and that's for where I put my empty coffee, whatever you call them, containers. And I just put the scraps from the cloth in these, and that's good when you just need a little bit of scrap to fill things with. This is where I keep things like push rods and aluminum rod and titanium rod and tube for my flying stabs and such. This is where my hose comes in. I showed you once before from the wall-mounted vac, which is in the garage. And I use these coffee containers just to keep the rolls of brown paper, which are actually templates for Eurofighters, A6 Intruder, my Dragon, and soon to be Tucano, for where I used to make the templates to cut these cloths with. This is my laser cutter. It's a Glowforge. I love this thing and couldn't do half the stuff I do without it. And this is just a temporary table that I can put up to cut my cloth on, do bills. The machines I use are simple, cheap-ass Craftsman, an Arbor Freight special, I guess, belt sander. I'm not sure what you call those things. Then this little sort of jiggy saw thing, my Delta drill press, cheap Chinese, or in this case, I think it was built in Taiwan, so it's a lot better than the Chinese stuff. But anyhow, this is a small lathe that I use. I machine a lot of parts up on this. And then I put a window in my shop so I can get a little extra light and see who's coming in. And then I just have the standard screwdrivers and bits and bobs on magnetic strips on the wall. This is something I designed and laser cut out, and it's just for all my screwdrivers. It works like a champ. And I made this guy up so I can put all my power tools, which I use. So I have a heavy duty impact screw gun there, big impact drill, and then I use a small Ryobi and a small Delta drill for in the shop because it's much easier than using these heavy duty guys. Batteries are all up there, charging strip down there, everything's plugged into, simply switch it on. This is a little AC unit that I had in my other shop, so I stuck it in this. And then I built all these cabinets. These are all custom built for the shop, which I did when I first moved in. And I have wall cabinets here. This is where I keep all my engines and stuff which is more expensive. You don't want to get dust on stuff. This little guy down here is actually a curing oven that I use for the fiberglass parts. It simply has a regular wall power switch mounted to the outside of it. It has a 100-watt light bulb in, the old-fashioned type. Yeah, it power drains. But it can, and I have a thermometer in there as well, and it can get the temperatures up to 120 degrees, no problem, which is perfect for curing parts out. So I can lay up a part and 2 hours later pull it out of the mold and everything's cured. This is just a quick and dirty storage rack that I built to put plywood and sheet plastic and so forth on it. And that's what I use mostly in the laser. And then I custom built, oh, look at that, that's full of stuff. I custom built this little brackets here. And that basically just has a tube that comes through it into this area. And it's where I put my rolls of construction paper. It allows me just to pull a fresh roll out without, just pull it up, cut it, tape it, boom, done. And this is something I made up on the laser. And this is for all my, well, not all, but just my old servo wires and so forth that I use sometimes. Then obviously lots of storage and things like that. And then I have just basically some shelves what were already in the garage, which I just adjusted a little bit. And then for wire, some of it is on here. Again, I just laser cut this so I can pull it off and just put new rolls on without any issues whatsoever. Anyhow, this is just a small shop compared to my other one. I think this one is 19 by 11, where my other one was 14 by 30 and a ton of storage and was custom built for me. But anyhow, that was another life. So you can see some of the strip lighting and it works out great. One thing I like is these big pull-out full extension drawers. I can get at everything. This is where I have templates and so forth. For the most part, just a junk drawer, really. But this is something what's really helped me a lot. When you got paint and everything, just pull it out. You got full access to your paint. So you can just throw it all back in and everything's rosy. And then from this hose outlet, I have basically a hose that can be dragged out to wherever I want it. So, it's just, this was from another job I was doing at the house, well, at my old house anyhow. So I just reused it here and it works out great. So I think that's probably the entire shop tour, nothing much to look at. Oh, and I built this bench. Now the thing is, sometimes I need to make cabinets or whatever, so I want a bench in the garage. This sucker is really heavy duty. So what I did is I bought these little guys, which you can just jack up and then roll the thing out. I got one on each corner of the bench and it works out just great. So I can just roll it out the door there into the main garage and use it for whatever I want to. So that's about it, folks, for the thing. Oh, one little thing I did is when you're custom building these toy airplanes, then you generally really need good alignment. So I put a laser up here and you can just see it there. So this allows me to line up, vertical stabs and noses and the length of the fuselage and so forth. So we're in the main part of the garage now. The reason I bought this house was actually a 2 RV parking spots. It's a fairly large house, a bit bigger than what I wanted, really. But it had a very big garage. This garage is 28 foot deep by, what is it, 8 or 10 foot, no, I mean 10 or 12 foot ceilings, I can't remember. So what I did is I built the shop in the third bay, which is here. And there's the vacuum, the storage stuff up there, which I never use. And there's my trusty old Dodge truck that I use for pulling my trailer with all my jets and stuff in. This is a storage rack that I designed. And this is because I have a bunch of Eurofighters that I designed and make. So I needed some place to store them because they're quite large and take up a lot of space if you put them on the ground. And I like to leave the wings on all my aircraft. So you can see that that's there. And this, it just basically has some foam in there, which is V-cut in a groove, so the wings just sit in there. I have the exact same thing in my trailer, which is a 16 foot by 8 foot high trailer, and it's rigged out with a workshop and solar and God knows what else, so you can do field repairs. So as you can see, I'm just adapting anything that's in the house. And when I built this, I also built it so I had these bulkheads, which you saw in the shop, which has the lighting on it. And that's so I could have extra storage, which works. And then I have a bunch of storage there as well. So anyhow, that's basically a tour of the shop and a bit of the garage. Seeing that we're doing a tour of the shop, I thought I might as well show you where I store some of these planes and what they are. Right there you can see half of the Tucano mold. This is the Eurofighter wing molds. And then there's another piece of the front of the Tucano. There's some A6 Intruder wings, some Eurofighter wings. This is the plug, sorry, not the plug, the molds for the A6 Intruder. Now that sucker's quite big. As you can see, the Tucano, which is 6 foot long, sits next to it. And that's the prototype that is in the test flight videos. This is the plug for the A6 Intruder. That's the actual original plug for the Tucano. This is one of the Eurofighters, which I designed, 12 years ago, I guess. And that's the latest upgrade. It's got a bunch of upgrades on it to make it lighter, more maneuverable. This is the Dragon. It's a sport flyer, aerobatic flyer, and pre-jet trainer, believe it or not, that I designed about 3 years ago for some of the lads at the club who were trying to learn how to fly jets and were having problems. And that's why it's called the Dragon. I guess I should start watching Game of Thrones. That's where I got the idea from, actually. And there's my girlfriend's plane. I forget what that thing's. Oh, Sensei, that's what it's called. There's some bits and pieces from 2 crashed A6s. And these were a couple of, I would say, I'd call these squint scale. You've got to squint to pretend that the scale. So you can see the difference between that and an actual scale built model. Big difference. There's a part of a T-28 that I designed. I guess that was my first molded aircraft, actually, 12, 13 years ago. And then in the cupboard, there's just all kinds of molds and things. It's hard to get lighting in here. But, there's molds all over the place. And unfortunately, one of problems with custom building your own models. The molds take up so much space, so you've got twice the aircraft and half flyable. So anyhow, so there it is. That's just part of my hangar, and then I've got the big trailer outside, which has more Eurofighters in it, my F3A pattern planes in it, and a couple of others. And I'm just trying to keep as least planes as possible. I'm tired of having too many planes. So I'm only going to start using the ones I build once these re-kit themselves. That's a ultimate that I fly. It's super fast, extremely aerobatic, and I love flying it. But anyway, seeing that I've just spent a few minutes showing you the shop, thought you might as well see the design space. So this is my office. These are two iMacs. These are where I design my models. This on the screen there is the Tucano wing. I've been working on the plugs for that. You're going to see a lot of videos on some design aspects of the Tucano. And then we go from there where we have a 3D printer. Forget what this one is. Anyhow, it's a 3D printer. It prints small parts, but it's pretty good, very precise, nice quality parts. And then whipping over here, we've got a larger format printer, and this one does 300 by 300 by 400, I believe. And that's what I've been printing all the fuselages and wing parts out on. And then we have the headless pilot. This has been in the family for many years. I think my dad nicked it during the war or something like that. But anyhow, you can't see it, but this head keeps falling off. I think he's a Spitfire pilot from World War II. And here is a plaque. It just shows a bunch of the trainers that I learned on when I was becoming a fast jet pilot many years ago. And then here's a bunch of spinner backplates that I've been working on the design of, which we'll get into later with real good detail. And then here's a bunch of struts and things that we had to buy, like God knows, 10 sets of different types to get the right one to fit the Tucano. And it's just the cost of doing business, I guess. Anyhow, so there it is. It's nothing big deal, just a regular old home office. So, but it's where all the action is. Oh, and while I'm at it, might as well show you my little wall of glory, or some of them. So, these are just some of the awards that I've won with various planes that I've designed and built. And I've got many more trophies, and I've thrown a bunch out because there's just too many of them. Anyhow, this is, I think, probably my most prized possession is this little guy. You can see he's got a radio control in his hands. And funny enough, that was given to me by the chairman of Futaba. Was it Sony? I can't remember now. But anyhow, it's to do with Futaba. I was doing some projects years ago with them, building some simulators. And anyhow, that's just a fun thing. And this is my favorite. This is really funny, I think. But it's my favorite cartoon character.